Hey guys, welcome to a new episode of Can't Hardly Wait. This is Joe, and doing a quick solo episode this week. Her last episode was Alexis by herself, getting real, and I think a lot of what she had to say was very important. I am probably not going to be getting quite that deep, but I just kind of wanted to talk about a few thoughts that I've had recently as far as the whole health and weight loss journey goes. I want to start by kind of giving an update on my year so far, talk about some successes I've had. As of this morning, actually, I am down about 18 pounds since the start of the year. A lot of it came off fast in the beginning because water weight, obviously, and the last couple pounds have been a little harder one, but I'm kind of proud of myself for sticking with it, and I feel good about things. I mean, really, my big plan this time around is to try to really make this a lifestyle change and really make it sustainable and, something I can stick with in the long run. So I'm working with a smaller calorie deficit than I have in the past. So I will be losing weight more slowly, but hopefully I'll also be able to stick with the program in the long run so that eventually I'll, get to where I want to go. I mean, aside from that small calorie deficit, I've also been working out pretty regularly. I haven't been doing a ton of dedicated intense cardio, but instead I've been trying to go on a number of walks throughout the day. One thing that's been great is I've been going for walks on my lunch break every day at work. I realize that there's this trail like less than 5 minutes from my office, so I've basically been eating my lunch really quick on the clock and then clocking out and going for a walk for a half hour. And it's a nice way to break up the day. It's great to get outside, and it's a good way to get some steps in. Trying to get like anywhere between 8,000 and 10,000 steps per day. Some days I'm going over. This past Saturday, I got like 17,000 steps because I went hiking for like an hour and a half in addition to other movement. I'm also going to the gym for now twice a week and doing a full body strength training routine. So really trying to make that part of my program as well. Strength training, building and maintaining muscle, I'm sure I've talked about before, is very, very important in any sort of, health journey. So I'm really trying to keep that going as well. Along with that, another thing I think I mentioned is that I'm really trying to prioritize protein, and I've been doing really well at getting, I usually aim for at least 150 grams per day, and I have been getting it more often than not, and so I'm feeling good about all that. But all that good stuff being said, the main thing I wanted to talk about today is this sort of, not only realization, but something I kind of have known, but have really been thinking about more recently. I saw this random video on Instagram the other day, and it was like an animated thing, with text over it and a narrator and all that jazz. And the video is talking about the fact that our nervous systems will always choose a familiar hell over an unfamiliar heaven. And really the idea behind it is that humans are inherently creatures of habit, and change is scary, and we tend to sort of fall into routines and just stay there, even if we're miserable. I mean, I've been fat my entire life, and it's not fun. I'm sure a lot of people out there are in the same boat. We're miserable being in the condition we're in, but for whatever reason, we just tend to not do a whole lot to try to change that. Or, we'll make like passing efforts here and there, but not really be able to commit to anything. And I mean, it obviously doesn't apply just to weight loss either. If you have a job you don't like, or you're stuck in a relationship with someone that you don't really think is the one, there are a lot of areas in life where I think we tend to just kind of settle into our routine because it's comfortable, and it's just easier to stay there than it is to really break out of it and do the things that need to be done to get into a better position, because it just seems overwhelming and scary to try to do that. So I've been thinking about that, and along with that, I've just been thinking about sort of the stories we tell ourselves about who we are, and sort of the roles that we assign to ourselves in life. And I feel like a lot of us tend to just kind of pigeonhole ourselves in certain ways. You know, obviously, a lot of times society will tell us that we are certain things or we can only be certain things. But I think we often do that to ourselves, you know, whether it's because society initially told us that or not. I think we tend to sort of see ourselves as one thing or like certain things and not feel like we can ever become anything outside of that or beyond that. You know, most of my life I've seen myself as being like a fat, introverted, socially awkward nerd. And like, not that there's anything wrong with being any of those things, but I think by seeing myself as those things and kind of only those things, I have felt like there's no possibility for me to be anything other than that. You know, I've always been fat, so I'm just always going to be fat. I've always been super awkward, so I always feel like everyone sees me as being awkward, even if in reality people don't. Like I'm just an awkward nerd, so that's just who I am. And I think a lot of people do that subconsciously or otherwise, and it's easy to kind of just get stuck in those places. If you constantly tell yourself that's who you are and see yourself as that thing, you're going to be that thing. You know, it never really occurred to me for most of my life that I could be someone who is healthy and you know, eating healthy food and being active, maybe even possibly being some degree of fit. Like, never in a million years would have ever thought that. And I'm at a place now where I realize what bullshit that is. Like, the only thing stopping me from being any of those things is me. You know, I can make excuses. I can blame society. I can whine about how hard it is to eat healthy and lose weight and all those things. And it is. It is very hard, obviously. Otherwise, I would not be, you know, the person you're looking at now. But I know it's not impossible. And I know that the only way to break outside of that cycle is to tell myself to get fucked, you know? The part of me that tries to pigeonhole myself into those roles, I need to, you know, tell that part of myself to go away. I need to embrace the fact that I can change and that I want to change and that I deserve to change. And I think that's part of it is, I know for myself, and I'm sure a lot of people that struggle with weight, there is a depression aspect to it. You know, there is a complete lack of self-confidence. There is, you know, whether you really have consciously thought about it or not, there's a feeling that you don't deserve to, you know, be a fitter, healthier person. You know, this is what I deserve to be. Like, this is just what I am. And it's bullshit. I mean, if someone is in a bigger body and is truly happy to be there, more power to you. That's awesome. But if you're a person like me who, you know, has struggled with your weight and you honestly are not happy, the only way it's going to get better is if you change. If you consciously decide to change and do things to make it change. And that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm telling myself, and that's what I'm trying to act on. And another thought I had is that really what it is I'm trying to be nicer to myself. You know, I think in a weird, sick way, food has been sort of a self-flagellation of sort. I feel bad about myself, so I'll eat a bunch of stuff. And, like, it gives me a temporary dopamine hit, but then I know I'm just going to be sad about it later when I fail to lose weight or gain even more weight. And it's just a vicious cycle that repeats itself that I know is going to keep repeating itself if I keep doing it, but I keep doing it. And I think it is, on a subconscious level, kind of a form of self abuse. And it sucks. I mean, I don't deserve that. Nobody deserves that. So I really am looking at this as a way to be nicer to myself, to believe in myself. I'm at an age now, especially, I'm over 40. I just turned 41 actually. I had brain surgery less than 4 months ago, coming up on 4 months in a few days here. And in light of that, I mean, I don't want to say like I deserve a new lease on life and be cliched, but I kind of feel like I don't want to waste that experience. I don't want to have gone through all that trauma for nothing. And I want to throw off my preconceived notions of myself. I want to tell that version of myself to get lost. And I really want to see what I can become. I want to see who I can become. I want to be the best version of me that I can be. And I don't expect to come out of this looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger or anything like that. But I just want to be in a healthier body, and I want to not feel like the body I am in is stopping me from doing anything that I want to do, or, weighing me down physically or metaphorically. I just want to feel like I am free to be the me that I want to be. And I know that this probably isn't a revelation for a lot of people. And I mean, it's not a revelation for me. I mean, I've had these thoughts in various forms a million times, but something feels different about this time. I have to change. And for the first time, if not ever in a very long time, I feel like I have the tools to make that change. So I'm excited to see where this goes. And if anybody's watching this, thank you for watching this. I hope you've gotten anything out of it. If you have, leave a comment. But I can do this. If you're watching this, you can do, if it's not the same kind of journey I'm on with health and fitness, if there's anything that you want to do, the only way it's going to happen is if you start working on it and make it happen. So don't let your scumbag brain tell you who it thinks you are and stick you in a certain box that you don't think you can escape from. Let's do this. That's all I've got to say. I guess we'll see you next time on Can't Hardly Wait.